Jai Hind students, I welcome you once again in the online class. This is Vivek, your teacher of English, and today we shall start the fourth chapter from Beehive. So let us start. Here I can show you that what genre it is. This is a prose, and the title of the story is A Truly Beautiful Mind. Now, if you can articulate what the story is all about, just go for it. The textbook is Beehive, your main textbook. Now let us move to the vignette as usual we go. Children, here vignette is showing you that the most important theme, as the writer is anonymous, so we shall not discuss it about. Here in the theme you will find that the story shows Albert Einstein as a human being. As I was saying that a truly beautiful mind is something special, so I asked you to have your speculation about this chapter. I hope many of you would have made a guess immediately, because we believe that many of you are genius of future. So the theme says the story shows Albert Einstein as a human being, a fairly ordinary person who had his likes and his dislikes, streaks of rebellion. Well, it is common in many of these people who are a bit special. But let us see what was special in him that we will find in the text, and his problems. So it is also that there Albert Einstein was having some sort of problem in his life. He was having some likes, he was having some dislikes, that is usual with every person. But he was some sort of rebellion who revolts, who doesn't agree with common or ordinary settings in the society. So he was a sort of rebellion. Next is this story traces his journey from the ordinary to extraordinary. So the most important thing in this story is that Albert Einstein was a human being. So this story suggests about the human being. To be a human being means do anything from the humanitarian ground. Another is a fairly ordinary person. As Albert Einstein was fairly ordinary person, here we are suggested to have or imbibe the same sort of qualities. And the third is that it traces his journey from the ordinary to the extraordinary. So this is most important thing that we must know about. Let us see what sort of characters are there. Children, there are some characters. Number one is Albert Einstein himself, his father and mother, his school headmaster, his wife Meliva Marik, and others. Now let us see what is given in the summary. Albert Einstein was born on 14th of March. You can see here, it is before your eyes on the screen, in 1879 in the city of Ulm in Germany. He did not show any indication of future greatness, as it is said that people who are great, they give some sort of indication when they are born, or the king or queen or anything, or anybody who is special having anything extraordinary in him is recognized when they are born. But there was nothing like that when Albert Einstein was born. Nothing special was seen in him. He was a late talker, in fact. Means instead of showing some extraordinary qualities of his genius in his childhood, he was a late talker and did not mix and play with his playmates, means with his classmates or people of the same age. He played by himself much of the time and loved mechanical toys. His headmaster had once told his father that Einstein will never be a success at anything, though it was discouraging line, but it did not made any impact on him. So let us see the next. On his mother's encouragement, he began learning to play violin at the age of 6 and he later became a gifted amateur violinist. Children, here amateur violinist means violinist who play not to earn money but for pleasure. So here amateur are not the professional violinists or any instrument player. Next is he attended a high school in Munich. Munich is a place in Germany, and though he was a good student, he hated the school's regimentation. So regimentation is some sort of discipline where systems are to be followed, the rules are to be abided with, and left the school at the age of 15. So there where he was studying in Munich, he did not like the strict rules and regulations because everything was to be followed as it happens in army. So he did not like life like a ramrod. So he left the school at the age of 15 from Munich. So this is the important thing. So he then continued his education in German speaking Switzerland in city which was more liberal than Munich. So definitely if he was not interested in regimentation, means strict discipline, he would go somewhere where he would not find the same scenes, and definitely he did not find same scene in the Switzerland speaking city which was more liberal than Munich. So he moved there. Next to this is he was highly gifted in mathematics and interested in physics, and many more things are given in this story, children. So here in summary, that much is sufficient. Let us see what is next to it. Here are some bullet points for you. Here in the story you will find that Albert Einstein as a little boy, in the story his childhood is described in abridged form, in fact I will say, because the stories cannot be written in an extensive way. Next is Einstein's desire, what he was interested in, what he wanted to become, and what he desired is also shown in this story. His work and marriage, his personal life is also shown in the story, and when he was accredited with the Nobel Prize for Physics is the core concern. Einstein's letter to Franklin D. Roosevelt, the then President of United States of America, Franklin D. Roosevelt. So he had written a letter. We shall see what did he write in the letter. It is also important for us. And the last is Einstein's sorrow and death. I mean, there will something happen in the story which will make you sorrowful, and about his death. Now let us see what is in the message. Children, here the story is all about the universal brotherhood. Yes, this story conveys us message of universal brotherhood, and it also motivates the children to pursue their dreams. Definitely many of the people have their dream, but they have never tried to hunt after it or try to chase it. And the same thing is said by our honorable former prime minister, I'm sorry, president, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He also said that dream, 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 and do something that makes your dream true. So the same thing is said by here Albert Einstein, that you must see dream, and if you will be looking or seeing the dreams, you will be definitely trying something to chase it. Now let us move to the text. So far we have found that this story is all about humanity and ordinary to an extraordinary life. Now let us see what is given in the text. I hope that you would have got the basics in the story. The theme and the message are quite simple and clear to you. Now let us see what is given in the text. Children, here it is before you, a truly beautiful mind. Definitely beauty is in the mind, not in the appearance of the face. So if somebody is looking very nice but his mind is contaminated or her mind is contaminated, that face is not worthy in any way. So I will also take that mind is a beautiful thing only. rather than having a beautiful face or appearance. What do you think? Just have a look on it in your mind after the class. Children, next to this is some dialogues. Let us see what is it. Before you read, we must go through it. Who do you think of when you hear the word genius? Do you have any answer, children? I think that you will also be having the same answer that I'm having. Next is, who is a genius? What qualities do you think a genius has? So if I will ask you, what do you know about genius? Who is a genius? And as per your view, what qualities should a genius possess? So definitely you will say all about the mind, and all activities related to mind will be called a genius. One who will be doing that sort of activity, whichever will be related to the mind. Let us see next here. We shall now read about a young man, civil servant, who took the world by storm about 100 years ago. All right. So it is also describing the story. In the summer of 1905, the 26-year-old published in quick succession 4 groundbreaking papers. So there something is described about 4 groundbreaking papers, when some papers were published or released that which were the sensational thing across the world. So we shall also know in the story what these 4 papers were all about. And children, look here, 26 hyphen year hyphen old is given. When you use hyphen, it is used to combine the words. So when you use hyphen, you are not required to write s after year, because now it is a single word. But when you do not use hyphen, there you will have to write years, because it will be separate words. Next is, children, about light. The papers were about light, the motion of particles, the electrodynamics of moving bodies, and energy. So this is it is here mentioned that the 4 papers were all about the energy, bodies of electrodynamics, and particles of motion. Here, motion of particles, I'm sorry. Next is, children, here his work took up only a few pages in scientific journals, but changed forever our understanding of space. Means, though the things were quite in concised form, but it was having a broad understanding and concepts of space, time, and the entire cosmos, and transformed the name Einstein into a synonym of genius. Yes, the 4 pages that were published by Albert Einstein had sensitized the entire world and were the only reason that made Einstein a genius. So we have to know what were the 4 pages describing all about in his journals, that he was describing what the motion of particles, the electrodynamics of moving bodies, and energy are. Next, it is written that 50 years after his death, Albert Einstein's genius still reigns. Means still it is, his genius is not forgotten in any way. In any way. Means still Albert Einstein is a synonym of genius. Now children, let us see in the paragraphs what is given. Here first paragraph is before you. Albert Einstein was born on 14th of March 1879 in the German city of Ulm, without any indication that he was destined for greatness. Means when he was born on 14th of March 1879, there was no indication that he will be a great person in future, he will be extraordinary character in future. There was nothing like that. Generally it is said, means it would be mythical, that it is said when somebody who is extraordinary is born, their nature gives some sort of signals or sign, but there was nothing like that. Means he was as ordinary as people are around us. On the contrary, means on the contrary, just opposite to this, his mother thought Albert was a freak. Here the meaning is given, a word used disapproving to talk about a person who is unusual and doesn't behave, look, think like others. Means he was extremely different. Here freak means, and to her his head seemed much too large. Means mother was saying that his head was comparatively large. So that was described by her mother in the first paragraph. Let us see what is next to this. Here you will find that at the age of 2.5, Einstein still was not talking. Means even when he was 2.5, Einstein was not talking. Generally the children start talking at the age of 12 months or 16 months. Means they start bubbling or speaking one or two syllables and then start uttering 2 or 3 words till 2, but he was not speaking. Not uttering means not speaking even a word when he was 2.5 of his age. So that was really a serious matter for the parents, and they were extremely worried about it. And when he finally did learn to speak, he uttered means, I told you, uttered means to speak everything twice. Means when he was speaking the things twice. That was the thing that troubled their parents. The parents thought that he has some speaking problem, he has some appearance disability, because his head was much too large, as it was described by her mother in the first paragraph. Here you can see. I also like to tell you that why he was called a freak and why he was a different, but at the end of the story, because it is interesting and something related to the end of the story. So we shall continue now. Einstein did not know what to do with other children. Means he was not like, as I told you, he was not like other students, so he even did not know what to talk with the other students, what to do with the other students. As usual, you will find that these children in the classroom will chat, will talk, even if they do not have any reason. They would find in the air. But Albert Einstein was not of that sort. He was not speaking to anybody, and his playmates, means the classmates, means his colleagues, called him brother boring. Children, this is very important word. They, in the questions, it might be asked why he was called brother boring, or what his playmates used to ask him. I will ask you this question at the end, so be careful about this. Next is, so the youngster played by himself. Means Albert Einstein played by himself and he did not say anything. So here children, you can see quotation is given here, and let me tell you what it is all about. Means when Albert Einstein was not speaking for many years, it happened that once he spoke, the soup is too hot when they were at table. Means dining table. Means the family had been there at dining table sitting together, and immediately, means suddenly, all of a sudden, out of thin air, Albert Einstein said the soup is too hot. So far you learned that he was not speaking anything even when he was 2.5. Here, even when he was 2.5. But when he was at dining table, he suddenly uttered the soup is too hot, and greatly relieved his parents. Means his parents were relaxed, relieved on this when he was speaking, because so far he was not speaking and parents were worried about his career and his future. What will happen to the child? Then the parents said, Means why he did not speak? Why did not speak before this if he is able to speak? Then he replied, Albert Einstein replied, because up to now everything was in order. Great. This is the greatness, children. A child who is two and a half is aware when to speak, when not to speak. Means he knows very well what is the place, what is the time to speak. When there is no problem, why to speak? Means even he does not want to speak and waste his energy. That he understands. Great. That is the greatness, which is not common. It has no parallel. In fact, I will not say that there would be any sort of person in the world. Next, much of the time, he especially loved mechanical toys. Looking at his newborn sister, Maja, he is said to have said, means he was informed that when you were a child, you used to say like this. So, and Albert Einstein was informed by the parents that when you were a child, you used to say like this. So, what he used to say like this is this here. Fine, but where are her wheels? Means when Albert Einstein was a child and he was having a sister, newborn sister Maja, when she was crawling on on foot. So he was saying that fine, but where are her wheels? And in the way he was making fun, because whatever crawling thing, whatever things were there before his eyes, he was thinking that it would be mechanical and would be having some wheel into it, wheels. And in the way he was making fun, it shows that his vision, his interest in mechanical toys or mechanisms or electronics. In the third paragraph, you will find something illicit said by some people. Let us see what is this. A headmaster once told his father that what Einstein chose as a profession, means whatever he will choose as a profession, would not matter. Generally, parents are always worried about their children. What will happen to my child? What will he do in future? What profession will he choose? What he should do? What he should not do? What she should opt? Like that. There are many things in the mind of the parents. So here the headmaster said his father that what Einstein chose as a profession would not matter because he will never make a success at anything. That was in fact a derogatory remark given by the headmaster. In fact, it is not given by any people in the modern world. And then what happened? Albert Einstein began learning to play the violin at the age of 6 with the help of her mother. In fact, her mother persuaded her and he started playing violin at the age of 6 because his mother wanted him to his mother wanted him to play the violin, so he was playing at the age of 6. He later became a gifted amateur violinist. As I told you, amateur means those who are non-professional, those who do not play for money making, or it is not their main business. It is done just for their interest. So there are many amateur players, violinists, singers, artists, like that. So maintaining this skill throughout his life, and he did not stop playing this violin. He had been doing this throughout his life. That was wonderful. In fact, it is suggested by our scriptures, the old texts, and in fact the mega texts, that everybody should be in association with the musical instruments, as these are the source of ideas, motivation, and lot many things. So we should also try to experience what these instruments or the things render us in our life. Well, I'm also having one. What do you have? Just write down in the chat box. Now let us move towards the fourth paragraph, children. In the fourth paragraph, you will find that it is written, but Albert Einstein was not a bad pupil. Pupil means student. He went to high school in Munich, where Einstein's family had moved when he was 15 months old. Here, Albert Einstein was not a bad pupil, means he was not any poor student. He was a differently able student. Yes, exactly. He went to high school in Munich. As I told you, Munich is a place in Germany where Einstein's family had moved when he was 15 months old and scored good marks in almost every subject. Yes. Einstein hated the school's regimentation. Here again, as I told you, that in the vignette we have read that he did not like regimentation, the rules, regulations, discipline, all sort of things. He did not like this. He wanted his life free. As in our country, Rabindranath Tagore put the concept of freedom. He has also written many poems on freedom of mind. It does not mean that there should not be any rules or regulations. It is not about the rules or regulations. There should be existence of rules or regulations, but Albert Einstein was talking something about the hindrance, the obstacles in his studies. The obstacles should not be there in studies, but in modern time, a lot of obstacle is created. That is a matter of debate. Let us continue. If we shall talk about it, it will take a lot of time and we have to save what time exactly. And often clashed. He was often in clash with his teachers. That was the reason. At the age of 15, Albert Einstein felt so stifled, means here he was unable to breathe. Does not mean that physically he was unable to breathe, means mentally he was not free. He was thinking that he was not able to survive here because the circumstances or the regimentation rules systems were not in his favor or suitable for him. So he was feeling stifled, suffocating there. And there that he left the school for good. So for his well-being, for his goodness, he left the place. Next to this is the previous year, Albert Einstein's parents had moved to Milan and left their son with relatives. So this was the different thing had happened with him, and after prolonged, means very long discussion, Einstein had got his wish to continue his education in German speaking Switzerland. As I told you that he was not interested, as you read in fourth paragraph here, that he was not interested in regimentation, so he wanted to move to a German speaking Switzerland. It is a big city, and in fact Switzerland is a country now. By the then time it was the part of Germany or the nearby the country. So there in Germany he wanted to move there because he thought that there the people are liberal, so there he moved. Next to this is German speaking Switzerland in a city which was more liberal than Munich, as I told you. So there he wanted to move up to a place where he was feeling relaxed, where he was thinking that he is, means at a place where liberalism is there, means people can do what they want. Definitely there where he was living was a place which was affected by military system, and Germany is a country. There are many countries where military services are compulsory. There are many countries you can search on your own. In the same way, in Germany there were Nazi effects, because of which the military system was in limelight and everybody was affected of it. Now children, let us see in the sixth paragraph. In fifth paragraph you learned that his parents had left him in his relative's house, and there he wanted to move to a place where he was a bit relaxed. Next is Einstein was highly gifted in mathematics. Yes, highly gifted in mathematics and interested in physics as well. He was also interested in physics. And after finishing school, he decided to study at a university in Zurich. So Zurich is also a place there in Germany. But science was not the only thing that appealed, means that he liked to the dashing boy, means smart boy, smart young man with the walrus mustaches. So walrus mustaches means this science was not the only thing that he was interested in, that the dashing boy, means the smart boy is used here for Albert Einstein, means that was not the only thing he was interested in. It means that he was also interested in many other things. Yes, a walrus, walrus is a kind of mammal, live in water, mostly in polar areas. I can show you the figure. So walrus mustaches is a style of having mustaches. I can show you what is walrus. So here you can see in the figure, this is walrus, and here it is having mustaches. Mustaches. This is also the mustaches. Here, walrus. You can also see in this figure, this is the walrus mustaches style. Yes, so he was having walrus mustache. You can also see here in this figure, walrus mustaches style he was having. Next to this is, children, is 7th paragraph, and then we shall conclude. Let us see what is there in 7th paragraph. He also felt a special interest in a fellow student, Meliva Marik. Meliva Marik was his fellow student, means classmate, whom he found to be a clever creature, means person. He thought that she is also a clever creature, means a clever student, a smart student. This Serb means Serbian, had come to Switzerland because the University of Zurich was one of the few in Europe where women could get degrees. Means even in European countries during 19th century, women were not allowed to have education, or means they were not having that many facilities as world is having for women. So there, this Serbian girl reached Zurich in the University of Zurich for higher degrees, and there Einstein saw in her an ally against the Palestinians. Palestine is a place where the people live who do not believe in any sort of music, art, like that, or singing. They do not believe in these things. So here it is, meaning is described here what Palestinians are. It is a word used disapprovingly to talk about people who do not like art, literature, or music. Means they do not have any interest in this. This is to say in simple words, they do not have any interest in art, literature, or music. Then the question is what they are interested in. God knows. We must know about this. If you are interested, you must find all about Palestinians. Next is, here again it is described that those people in his family and at the university with whom he was constantly at odds, means the ideas were not matching. There were some clash in the ideas with the Einstein, because he was also against Palestinians, and Meliva Marik was also against Palestinians. So Meliva Marik's and Albert Einstein's ideology were same. So there he found something common in them, and you can have intimacy until unless you are having something common. So he found something common. The both of them were against Palestinians. The couple fell in love. Letters survive in which they put their affection into words, mixing science with tenderness. Though he was person who was almost means a person who you can call a science man, but he was also having his heart. So his heart was shown in the words there, which was written in the letter in tenderness, means showing his love. And wrote Einstein, how happy and proud I shall be when we both have brought our work on relativity to a victorious conclusion. Means he was again, means still, when he had fallen in love, wanted to create something on his relativity, theory of relativity, that you will come to know in next class what he had created. In fact, he had created the most important thing in the theory of relativity, and which he was talking about. Even when he was talking about his affair, his love, and all that he had by the time. So we have that much in today's class. I hope you would have got lot many things about Albert Einstein's. Still, a lot is remaining, and that we shall continue in the next class and learn what special qualities Einstein had that world don't know. With this, have a nice day. Thank you.